This is part 2 of our videos about restructuring code to add more procedures. So what we did in the first part, we took the code that finds the flavor price and the flavor name, and that looks and makes sure flavor has been selected, and we broke it up into 3 procedures. Flavor chosen, I should say function procedures. Flavor chosen, which was Boolean, get flavor price, which returns the price, which is double, and get flavor name, which returns a string. And those procedures are now at the end of our code here, and I've given them each a nice comment and so forth. So now we're ready for the next step, and if we look at our code here, the next thing that kind of pops out at you is this business of finding the topping cost. And that looks like something we could easily encapsulate and make into a procedure. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So as usual, I'm going to start by putting in the code that uses the procedure call, and then I'll write the procedure. So I'm going to say topping cost equals, and I'll call it get topping cost. Now I have to see if there's anything I need here from the rest of the program. And if you look, what I need is a number of scoops. Well, I could finesse it and then return the cost for 1 scoop and then multiply. But let's go ahead and illustrate how to use a parameter here. So I'll put num scoops in as a parameter. And I don't see these guys are constants. They're global, so they'll be available. And the values of the checkboxes are also available. Okay. So now what I want to do is copy this and come down to the bottom, get ready to write my function definition. So I'm going to say function, and then I'll do a paste. Okay, and for this, I like to tell that it's a value parameter, and the type is integer. Okay, and it automatically gives me my end function. All right, now to write the code, I'm going to go back here. Because I'm dividing up my program, I already have code written that's suitable. I'm just going to copy it here. And actually, I'm going to be bold and cut it. You want to be careful with that, not to lose stuff. And then I'll come down here and paste. Okay. And I can see that I'm using a local variable named topping cost. Of course, that local variable exists in the calling procedure, but because this is a separate procedure, it doesn't exist here. So I'm going to declare it dim topping cost as double. Okay. Now let's just check the code and make sure everything is fine. And I'm looking, I see I have num scoops, topping cost is local. Alright, so the one thing I have to add is assigning a value to the function name. So, and don't forget that, it's important. So get topping cost equals topping cost. I could have used get topping cost in all of these places, but this was less work given that I already had it written, and besides, you don't want to use the function name on the right hand side. So actually, maybe I couldn't do that. And in any case, it's better practice to use local variables and only assign the function name at the end. Okay, so let's save this. Go over to Excel and run the macro. So I'm going to get 2 scoops of vanilla, and let's put hot fudge on and place our order. And I can see it's saying hot fudge. The cost of this sundae is $2.30, which includes the cost of my 2 hot fudges. So that worked right. Okay. Again, I can run through the complete suite if I want to, suite of tests. Okay, later on I'll come back and put the banner comment on, but for now, let's just notice how nicer our code is, how much easier it is to read, and how much more compact in the main procedure. It's already getting quite a bit shorter here. Now, with the spoon cost, I could make a procedure here, but I think it's small enough I'm not going to bother. And the same thing, all of these assignment statements and so far, silly to write procedures for those. Okay, same thing here, it's a single line. Now we get to print receipt. This is a pretty substantial piece of code and certainly a good candidate to be broken up. So what I'm going to do is go ahead. Now, up to now I've used functions. This one's going to be a procedure, a sub-procedure, because I'm not interested in returning a value. What I'm doing here is making the program do something. In this case, print the receipt. Okay, so I'll write call print receipt, and now I have to think about all the information that I need to print the receipt properly. So let's go through here. We certainly need to know the number of scoops. So I'm going to make these all arguments. I need the flavor name. Let's see. I need the topping cost. This stuff I can do again. I mean, this I can just do in my procedure. That's fine. I need the food cost here. I need the tip amount. Tip amount. And what else do I need? The spoon cost. It's a lot of arguments, right? But that's what I need. And I need the total cost. Okay. Now this is kind of a long line. I could do a line continuation, but I think I won't bother. Okay, but now what I want to do, first I'm going to set up my procedure definition, then I'll move the code. So let's copy this, and I'm going to put it at the end here. Okay, I don't want the call, of course, but what I do want is the word sub, because this is a sub-procedure definition. And what I'm going to do is put each formal parameter, these are going to become my formal parameters. Now one thing to say is, I could change the names. I don't have to use the same name for the formal parameters as I do for the arguments. You know, that's silly, and especially if I have a function or a procedure that I'm calling in multiple places, it's clearly going to have different name arguments or different values, maybe expressions in different places. But for this one, because I'm restructuring my program, it's actually really helpful to use the same names, because then I can just reuse the code that I had before. So I'll take care of that, but what I want to do first is just a little lining up. This would become unbearably long if I didn't break it up like this, because we're going to add something to each line here. So I'm just going to go through and do that. Okay, so remember, it's a blank and an underscore to do a line continuation. Now this is an alternate style, and it's a nice one if you have a lot of arguments like we do here, or now they're formal parameters. And here I'm going to put by val for each one. I'll just copy that. Oh rats. Okay. Jump the gun on me. So now I have to fiddle around paste. Is there anything down there still? Yeah. Paste. put in the new line. We don't want this. Okay. So how are we doing? This guy we want to move over. Okay. Back to normal. Now let's try that again. I'm going to copy. And here I'm going to paste. Okay, and I'll do each one. Paste. Paste. And this one. Paste. Okay, and now I'm going to give the types. So this is as integer. I'm using integer instead of long because I know that nobody's going to order 32,000 scoops. Flavor name is a string. Okay. Topping cost is a double. In fact, I think the rest of these are doubles. So let's just copy that. Copy and paste. Paste. Sorry. Okay, paste. Let's create a little space here. And now let's go grab all that code. So, cut. And paste. Okay. Well, how are we doing? Haven't got any red lines. You know, I could actually break this up even more and make this topping cost thing its own little procedure, but let's not go that far. Let's save this and give it a shot. So I'll go over to Excel, run my macro. Okay, 3 scoops of strawberry. Let's have a couple toppings and a spoon. Okay, and it looks like it worked. Now I still have some cleanup to do over here. I have to put comments on. There should be more comments in here. And I need my print receipt comment here. Stuff like that. But basically, this gives you the idea. And just to one final thing, just take a look at this main procedure now. It's so much simpler. You can read it. What we've done is hide the details. So you can get a good overall view of the structure. And if you're interested in the details, you can go over to where they are and take a look at them. And this is one of the big advantages, hiding the details like this, the complexity, so that you only have to deal with a certain amount at once. It's really important to help somebody understand your code.